So John Deere has been automating some of its manufacturing processes. Could you maybe talk a little bit, Chad, about maybe what prompted the decision to do so and what processes the company is focused on automating?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're no different really than many manufacturing companies or even outside of manufacturing other industries in terms of why we're on the journey to automate. I think for us it comes down to a few key reasons. One of those starting with the evolving workforce could be labor shortages that we're facing as a headwind. It could be the skill sets of that workforce. Or it also could be really the motivation of the workforce, maybe to fit within certain roles, right? And automation has the ability to mitigate a lot of those risks that we may face in the labor market. The second thing I'd say is around stronger execution. So again, automation brings that level of stability and predictability within the process versus maybe some of the other issues we may encounter in terms of errors, right? So that could be the delivery of a component, it could be maybe how we assemble a certain subassembly, as an example. The third point then would be around productivity. Again, automation has the ability to work when others don't work, whether it be breaks, lunches, off shifts. So continuing to move parts, maybe continue to execute some operation. And then the last one I'd add is around data and decision making around data. And so as we think about automation in our facilities, regardless of the process, it's generating data that we can then take and leverage to hopefully make smarter, better business decisions, regardless of the step of the process, to hopefully drive and meet customer demand at the end of the day. Now, I think if you look at where we are focused as John Deere, like many, we're looking at the entire value stream, particularly around highly repetitive tasks. The dull, dirty, dangerous that typically is applied to automation, this certainly applies to us as well. But simple assemblies are always a focus area, such as with cobots. Fabrication operations, such as cut, bend, weld, which we've been doing for a long time, so that's not new to us. But I'd say what is new, if we look over the last 4 to 5 years, is the focus on internal logistics. So things such as put away storage of material, picking that material, and then delivering it throughout our facilities to the point of consumption or point of use has become a higher priority, right? It's a lot of non-value added work being done. But I'd say just at the end of the day, it's working more intelligently through the scaling of automation, but also remaining adaptable and flexible to what the future of manufacturing is. We don't know all those variables that are going to play in, and automation kind of allows us to adapt quicker and be more flexible within our factories.
Mm-hmm. And so you were kind of touching on it already, but what are some of the technologies being employed to enable automation within John Deere's factories?
Yeah, so I think it starts with certainly private 5G is one area that has the opportunity to really impact positively our journey of automation. When you think of the density of devices we can put within our environment, which is really the scalability piece, seamless handoffs or reliability. So as we think about an example, there would be an autonomous mobile robot that might be traversing a very large facility. With traditional Wi-Fi, there's opportunities for those handoffs to become fragmented, and that can create issues. And then I'd say reducing infrastructure, another big piece of private 5G, where you're reducing your amount of network drops, those type of things, and creating flexibility. So that's really one technology I think that's going to enable our scaling of automation more easily. The other one would be just in general IoT devices. So we think of RFID, maybe vision. And while those are maybe less of an enabler to getting started with automation, I think they certainly are add incremental value to how we leverage automation in the future, right? So, you think of applying RFID to a piece of automation and having it go around your facility and read, as an example. And then lastly, I just add digital twin. I think of the way it can allow us the ability to evaluate automation against a real world environment prior to deployments, but also once those robots are out there deployed, is being able to manage change really easily as business variables change, whether that be hourly, daily, weekly. It opens up an opportunity there for us. So those would, I'd say, are the key kind of three technologies that we're looking at of supporting automation or enabling automation.
Well, you were bringing up, the role 5G is playing in automation. So are you able to maybe kind of expand on that a little bit? What makes it beneficial to implementing automation within your facilities, or, how are you utilizing, or expand a little bit on, how you guys are utilizing it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've hit on a couple of these in the prior question, but I think as you look at improved kind of data payload and processing speeds, and that comes down to the density of devices you can have. So the more we grow automation, the more devices that are pulling on that network, right? From a data standpoint, I think the operational flexibility piece is key. Again, just reducing the traditional infrastructure you need to support the network in the past opens up other opportunities, right? As you need to change a facility, and maybe you're changing that facility as part of your automation journey. That flexibility is already created, right, by the movement to 5G. And then I think improving that stability and reliability piece that I hit on before, right? I think that's really key as we look at some of these automated movement technologies that are out there, again, like autonomous mobile robots, because the need to ensure that stability of the connection is critical as it moves through, again, large facilities and maybe gets in nooks and crannies that Wi-Fi can't reach efficiently or effectively. 5G can help fill that void, and I think that's going to be really, really important too as we move into the future.
Okay, so do you see then 5G, like I said, kind of being the future then for that networking technology?
Yeah, I think certainly for us, we're focused on an 80-10-10 kind of rule or vision, which is the 80% on 5G and then 10% and 10% split between your hardwired and your traditional Wi-Fi. So we certainly think that's the future. I think when we look at automation, call it the hurdle or maybe the barrier that sits in front of us right now is how many devices are enabled for 5G in the automation space, and vendors are working towards that, but there's still a pathway that we need to get there.